Good evening, everybody. December 7th, 2021. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. We had progressed upwards towards this ideal box for 3 earlier in the day. Haven't quite gotten there yet. And remember, I was hoping for some extension on that as well, so that this 5 would line up better with that 3 there. So that remains to be seen whether or not we will get that. Within this third wave, so it's possible it maybe truncated there, although I really wouldn't want to see a third wave truncate like that. That would probably put us more in a diagonal path. I'll go over that in a second here. So if we do this, I would say within this third wave, ideally we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up somewhere into this region here. And so let's just double check that with our microfib here, drawn from the top of the third. So I did this last night, but it extended a little higher, so I think that's probably the top of the third there instead, in the very, very micro sense. And we are a bit below ideal support for this right now, which would have held right here before going up into this region, which could give us that extension I was looking for. So that's possible, but realistically we do not want to see it drop below this yellow 0.5 right here, 49.8K. So if we see this continue downwards and break that 49.8K, this would have broken the low time frame impulse. So we at this point in time we haven't broken that yet, but it is kind of a level to keep an eye on, 49.8. Below that, I think we're probably going into a diagonal, which doesn't necessarily mean that we're bearish. We could have a leading diagonal off the lows here. So anyway, if we remain above 49.8, let me put a red line there so we know that's important. Remaining above 49.8 in the short term, we should see this move up now to 52.9 to 53.6K. And that box there, I'm going to make that red. And that'll likely be an extension. If we can do it, that will extend this third wave. That would be excellent. And then from there, we'll pull up support for this fourth wave. Right there. Once that tops out, if we do manage to stay above this red line and go up here, once that tops out, then I will be able to move the support up for that fourth, and then we'll also have a higher target probably for this fifth wave, which should hopefully coincide with a larger picture, which is this third somewhere in this red box. So that's what we ideally want to see. All right, so that is the update on the potential impulse. Let me get rid of that fib now. If this was going to be a diagonal instead of this being 1, 2, and a micro 1, this would be A, B, and C in a first wave. So this could be wave 1. This could be A, B, C down in a second wave. So basically, instead of that being the larger one, it would be here. Instead of this being the larger 2, it would be over here. And then this potentially is the top already in the third, or we may see A, B, C up for a higher third. So that's a possibility as well. But let's just assume, worst case scenario, this breaks down below 49.8. Where's the diagonal trend line then for us to work with? So let's say as an alternate scenario for now, possible that we have our first wave there, our third wave here, and there's our second wave that we can tag the channel to. So I would say breaking down below 49.8, then our best chance of support is right around here. Looks like 48.9, lines up with a whole bunch of horizontal resistance. So from there, moving up into a fifth wave in a diagonal would give us still a decent chance of upside from there. You know I don't like leading diagonals though. As a rule of thumb, I'd much rather see an impulse, but we could in fact still get 5 waves up as a diagonal 5 waves, even if this 49.8 still or breaks down, right? So I'm still going to leave my stop below 47.1, this level here. If you wanted a little tighter, you could go underneath this level here, 47.8, something like that. Or even just watch this, and if it breaks down through that channel line, that's a decent place to stop as well, because it likely means that we have just then seen A, B, C, and then death, which is always the risk we were running here. If we see this channel trend line break, well, it doesn't necessarily mean complete death, right? That comes only if we break that low. We could do ABC up, ABC down, and a larger diagonal, ABC up. That's why these diagonals are really difficult to trade, because they can sometimes morph into larger ones, or it could certainly just go sideways as well for a while, which we've discussed in a larger corrective pattern, accumulation sort of thing. And then, the worst case scenario, like I said, would be that's just the highest that we go, and then we proceed to break down and end up breaking down below this low again. If we do that, we're on our way down to the 20 or 30 Ks. So for now, basically, we've got some hope still of a proper impulse as long as we stay above that 49.8 and press upwards into this red box here. So fingers crossed for that. And this is kind of our backup plan then. And let me just label that in red. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in a diagonal, something along those lines. So I've got it in red there as basically as our alternate scenario if the impulse fails to hold. That's what I'll be looking at, and if that fails, then it's probably wise to stop out, because either way it's either going to kind of just chop around for a while or potentially die. So not a great risk reward if it breaks down through that little channel there. Alright, so that's my update for tonight, and we'll see what the overnight action brings, and we'll go from there. Alright, good night everybody.